Hey, I'm gamedev and this is a shader I've made in Unity. It basically pixelizes down the screen and assigns each pixel to the nearest color in a color palette. And I kind of wanted to make a game after this, kind of just vibing it along the way. And this is how it looked. But now let me show you how I built it. I needed a player model. Don't tell anyone this is a secret. I actually just used Miximo's regular iBot character, or whatever it's called, since I simply didn't want to model and rig my own 3D model that would probably just be worse. I got my player working pretty easily with a simple player script. I also made a really simple scene that you could walk around into. I'm sorry for the initial recordings being a bit choppy, but that's fixed later. I also made a really simple water shader in shader graph. I just had a quad with the water material on the camera and it was working swimmingly. After this I made a ragdoll play when the player dies. I was a bit annoyed over how garbage I thought the auto ragdoll system was, until I realized that it had to be in T-pose, and well, it worked after I fixed that. And well, you could die. Then I felt like adding a gun to the player, so I did. I managed aiming through the 2-bone inverse kinematics component. It was a bit finicky to get working properly, but it felt really good when it was finally done. I wanted something to shoot at other than the player and some boxes, so I made an enemy that just chases you when it sees you. I had a really frustrating and big problem with it for a really long time too. And that was the gravity was really slow and strange, and I didn't know why. And the goddamn apply root motion was for some reason enabled on the animate component. But when I turned that off, it worked really good. I wanted the game to look a bit less bad, so I added some outlines using a custom post-processing stack. It didn't seem to work for transparent materials like my water though. But this was a happy accident since I think it looked pretty cool with being able to see through the water because of the outlines on the other objects. As you probably noticed, I also added some lines in the background, a bit cooler I think. I wanted it to remind a bit of Bauhaus, so I tried to keep it to simple shapes and colors. I added kind of a sun in the background and made it work like a parallax background layer that follows the camera a bit, like this. I also just expanded the scene a bit and added a few more obstacles as well. After this I made this little contraption to move up to the new floor. I was too lazy to make any sort of ladder or something similar, so I made this. We have to stand on this seesaw and then shoot down a block to fling ourselves up into the air, and it works 100% all the time, I promise. Up there I made these seesaws as an obstacle, for instance, and after that it was just some simple platforming. All the obstacles up to this point had been purely physics based, nothing really coded, except some simple moving and rotating scripts. But here I wanted to do some kind of Donkey Kong barrel thing. I made a sort of bridge you could shoot down. When it has an angular velocity greater than 0, it initializes a sequence that spawns barrels. Well, they're more rolling cylinders, but we can pretend. I noticed that the player, when dead, worked really well as a ramp actually. Then when you got to the top you could fall down into a chamber full of enemies, where the last obstacle, a really big seesaw, I'm creative I promise, is. To finish things off, I added a death screen when you, well, died. I also added some footstep sounds and made a really good map in Paint that you can look at. And that was the game. If you want to try it, I'll leave a link down below in the description. Like and subscribe if you liked the video, it really helps a lot, and thank you for watching. Till next time, goodbye. Hey, I'm gamedev3 and my current main game looks pretty bland. I had thought about how I should improve my art style and instantly thought about the game Dead Cells. It uses 3D models, flattens them down and pixelates them, and assigning each color to the nearest color in a color palette. And this is how it looked on a mock-up scene I made in Blender with a shader. But I only had an image I pixelized and wanted to try and make an actual playable game out of this. It'd be fun to experiment, I thought. I made a new Unity project, named it something really creative, and got started.